Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you guys my Maiden of Rambling Rose Legion deck profile for October 2015. This is the latest Legion Revival card in which we got in the English set, so I thought I'd bring you guys the deck profile. It's pretty fun. The biggest thing about this deck is it keeps consistent rear guards plenished using the Legion's abilities. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Your main card is Maiden of Rambling Rose. It is the Legion Revival that uses Maiden of Trailing Rose as the Legion mate. And its effect is when this unit Legion, you may pay the cost, which is choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you do, search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same name as the cards on your Vanguard. Reveal them to your opponent, choose one from among them, call it to rear, and then shuffle your deck. So basically you call the Rambling Rose that you add and keep the Trailing Rose that you get with the effect in your hand, so you can use it with the effect, because Maiden of Trailing Rose is a Persona Blast. And the other effect is Soul Blast 2. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search for up to 1 grade 1 or less rear guard, and search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that unit and call it to rear, and then shuffle your deck. So you get consistent rear guards, plus the Soul Blast ability helps to power the Legion. So overall, it's a pretty nice, very equally balanced Legion Revival. And the mate is Maiden of Trailing Rose, which I also run 4 of. It is the Persona Blast ability. You counterblast 1 and choose a copy of Trailing Rose from your hand, discard it. When the attack hits Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 5 cards from your deck and search for up to 2 Nectar from among them and call them to rear guard and shuffle your deck. So like I said, this is the card that keeps rear guard consistency, and the fact that you can reach Legion power gives a lot more pressure than if you were to just attack with Trailing Rose by yourself. So very good. We'll get later on some good pressure tactics that you can use with this card. I also run 4 Maiden of Cherry Bloom. Just another easy card in which you can call grade 1s. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. When this unit attacks, hits a Vanguard. If you have a Nectar Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card named Maiden of Cherry Stone, call it to rear at rest, and then shuffle your deck. So you can get grade 1s you need. And it's early game pressure as well, because it's not a gen break effect. And the Soul Blast 1, this deck doesn't soul charge so much, but you can re-ride Rambling Rose pretty consistently and constantly Legion. So it's very easy to keep your soul consistent, even if you Soul Blast a lot for the Legion's effect. And I also run 3 of the 10K of Vanilla Sella, just, a consistent ride target in my opinion. If you don't get Cherry Bloom, just something else to be stuck on if you can't get your grade 3. And I also run 3 Narcissus Musketeer, Joachim. He is a card, when this unit attacks if your Vanguard's Legion, it gets plus 4,000, making him a 12k. So good power on rear guard. Vanguard's almost always a Legion, so, very powerful card to use. And then for grade 1s, I only run 10 grade 2s. I kept the grade 1 count higher in this deck, just because they're a little more important. 4 PGs, Maiden of Blossom Rain. You can also run the Unflip PG. Just have the Unflip PG in another deck at the moment. This deck is not too counterblast heavy, with everything being CB1, so running the normal Perfect Guard will not be too big of a downfall. And I also run 4 Maiden of Cherrystone. Put this unit on the top of your deck. When an attack hits during the battle that this unit boosted, if you have a Nectar Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card named Maiden of Cherry Bloom, call it to rear guard's rest. So you search for the grade 2, and if you get this off early enough, you can have the grade 2 ready to go next turn. And I also run 4 Fruit Basket Elf. This card's great with the Legion, basically because the effect is when this unit boosts a Nectar that is attacking a Vanguard. If you have a Nectar Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, which is counterblast 1, until the end of the battle, your opponent cannot normal call units to the guard circle, and if the unit boosted does not deal any damage. You mostly do this for Trailing Rose's effect to make sure the attack will hit, and then you can get Trailing Rose's effect off to call rear guards. It's more, if you want to set up your field for late game and the Vanguard's hit is irrelevant, you can always give the trigger powers to rear guards you currently have on the field, and then set up another column when Trailing Rose hits. And I also run 3 of the new Holy Hawk Knight. Basically, during your turn, if your Vanguard's Legion, this unit gets +2 for each of your rear guards with the same name as a card on your Vanguard. You call a Vanguard a grade 3 to rear with the Legion's ability, so you'll pretty much always have one to get his power boost, so it's a great booster to have in the deck. And for grade 0s, I run the starter, Maiden of Physalis, just a great early game call card. You put it into Soul when an attack hits the Vanguard during the battle that this unit boosted. If you have a Nectar Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and search for one grade 1 Nectar from among them and call it to rest. So you can get cards you need for your plays early on with this card. And then for trigger count, I run 8 crit at the moment, 4 Daimor Pathetica, I think's her name, and 4 Musketeer Daniel. And I also run the 4 heal. I like to stick with the old Sweet Honey, the one that came out with Trailing Rose, and 4 Leaf Fairy. Also trying out the Stan. Might try Rainbow, taking out one of the sets of crits, just because the one Stan where you put in the Soul for +3 helps with the Soul power. Might take out the draw. It all depends. But for now, I like the 8 crit. 4 draw. We'll definitely try out the stands later on. Feel free to try it out yourself. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.